Egyptian religion had always been strongly polytheistic, so many different gods.
Changes he made were so radical, some have suggested that Akhenaten didn't merely revise the old polytheistic system.
The pharaoh who changed Egypt forever and paid the price. Imagine being so powerful that you could rewrite religion itself. Imagine daring to tell an entire civilization, the most religious one on earth, that they were worshipping wrong. Now imagine that after your death, your name, your face, and your entire legacy were erased from history. This isn't fiction. This is the real story of Akhenaten, the most controversial pharaoh in ancient Egypt, the king who defied the gods, challenged tradition, and changed history, only to be erased from it. The birth of a revolutionary pharaoh. Long before his name was struck from every temple wall, Akhenaten was born as Amenhotep IV, son of Amenhotep III, one of Egypt's greatest rulers. He grew up surrounded by luxury, power, and gods carved into every stone, but deep inside, he saw something wrong. A world overcrowded with gods and priests who controlled everything. When Amenhotep IV took the throne around 1353 BCE, Egypt was at its golden age, rich, stable, and deeply spiritual. But this new pharaoh wasn't content to just rule. He wanted to reinvent Egypt itself. The radical dream, one god, one sun. Then came a decision that would shake Egypt to its core. Amenhotep IV suddenly abandoned Egypt's traditional gods. No more Ra, Osiris, Isis, or Amun. Instead, he declared that only one god existed, the Aten, the radiant sun disk that gave life to all. He changed his name to Akhenaten, meaning the servant of the Aten. This was the birth of monotheism, 1,000 years before Moses or any major monotheistic religion. To Akhenaten, the Aten wasn't just another god, it was the only divine truth. But not everyone was ready to accept that. The powerful priests of Amun, who controlled enormous wealth and influence, saw Akhenaten's reforms as a direct attack on their power. And they were right. Akhenaten closed temples, seized their wealth, and moved the capital city from Thebes to a brand new city he built from scratch, Akhetaten, today known as Amarna. It was a bold move, a statement that Egypt's future belonged to him and the Aten. The city of the sun. Akhetaten rose out of the desert almost overnight. It was unlike any other Egyptian city, bright, open, filled with sunlight and art that broke tradition. Instead of rigid poses and idealized faces, artists now portrayed the royal family in intimate human moments. Akhenaten, his queen Nefertiti, and their daughters basking in the rays of the Aten. Akhenaten's art style was strange and revolutionary. His elongated face, slender limbs, and feminine features made him look nothing like previous pharaohs. Some say he wanted to look androgynous, a symbol of divine balance between male and female, just like the Aten, but others whisper a darker theory. Maybe he was hiding a physical deformity or illness, like Marfan syndrome. Whatever the reason, Akhenaten was sending a message. He was not just a king, he was the living messenger of the one true God. The Great Rebellion. But Egypt wasn't happy. The priests were furious, the people were confused, and Egypt's enemies, sensing weakness, began attacking from the borders. While Akhenaten devoted himself to his new religion and poetry to the Aten, the empire started crumbling. His obsession with faith made him blind to politics and war. Egypt's military lost control over its territories in Syria and Canaan, while the pharaoh seemed unconcerned, focused only on his vision of divine light. Even his beloved city, Akhetaten, began to fade in glory before his death. The disappearance and the erasure. Then, around 1336 BCE, Akhenaten suddenly disappeared. No clear record, no grand tomb, no glorious farewell. What happened next was one of the greatest historical erasures ever. After his death, his successors, including the boy king Tutankhamun, rejected everything he stood for. Tutankhamun abandoned Akhetaten and restored the old gods. The priests returned to power, and the campaign to erase Akhenaten began. His statues were smashed, his name was chiseled off temple walls, and his city was left to decay in the desert. To the Egyptians, he became a heretic, a traitor to the gods, a king who brought chaos to the land. For over 3,000 years, his name vanished, until archaeologists rediscovered the ruins of Amarna in the 19th century. The mystery of Nefertiti and the hidden successor. No story of Akhenaten is complete without Nefertiti, his powerful and captivating queen. Together, they ruled as equals, something unheard of in Egyptian tradition. Nefertiti wasn't just a royal consort, she was a political and spiritual partner, often depicted offering sacrifices to the Aten beside the pharaoh. But near the end of Akhenaten's reign, Nefertiti suddenly vanished from all records, much like her husband would later. Some historians believe she changed her name and ruled briefly as Pharaoh Neferneferuaten, keeping Akhenaten's vision alive after his death. Others think she fell from power, or even died in secrecy. Her disappearance adds another layer of intrigue, a mystery that still puzzles Egyptologists today, echoing Akhenaten's own erasure and the haunting legacy they both left behind. Akhenaten's legacy: prophet or madman? So who was Akhenaten really? A visionary ahead of his time, or a fanatic who destroyed Egypt's golden age? Historians still debate that question. Some see him as the world's first monotheist, a man who glimpsed a higher spiritual truth long before others. Others call him a religious extremist whose obsession nearly ruined an empire. But here's what's undeniable: Akhenaten dared to question everything: power, faith, and tradition, and that made him dangerous. The return of the forgotten pharaoh. Today, we can stand among the ruins of Amarna, where the wind still whispers his forbidden name. And maybe that's the most haunting part of his story, that even after being erased, Akhenaten found a way to be remembered, because no matter how hard history tried to bury him, his ideas survived. The idea of one God, one light, one truth. He was a pharaoh who dreamed of eternity, and in a strange way, he got it. Akhenaten's story is a reminder that change always comes at a cost, especially when it challenges power. He was a rebel, a dreamer, a visionary, and perhaps the first true believer in a single divine light. What do you think? Was he a prophet or a madman? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this dive into Egypt's most mysterious king, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because history's greatest stories are the ones they tried to erase.